As we are posting more information about the horses that have been rescued, or more recently two who've come here to retire, I think it's important I say something on behalf of the staff. It is inevitable that once we start posting such information, it will be seen by horse experts all over the world. And there are so many differing views amongst those who care for and work with horses, and we know that very well. Firstly, I want to make two things very clear. The same rules apply to our horses as apply to our donkeys and mules. No animal will be tethered. Every animal will be given a name, and every animal will be treated with respect. That's 3 rules, actually. I've added an extra rule on. We posted this afternoon a very short video that was taken without my knowledge by one of the boys as Ayub was bringing the 2 retired girls up from the top field down to the donkey refuge. And en route, he walked through our arena. He was riding bareback on top of the grey mare, and he just tried her for a couple of circles, maybe 3 or 4, certainly no longer than a minute, around the arena. He wouldn't have ridden the other horse who appears to have some arthritis, and we want that to be seen by the vet first. We took these horses from people who cared a great deal about them, but could no longer financially afford to keep them alongside their working horses. So it was a very good arrangement, and we were very anxious to listen to their needs and do the best we could. What we can't do is we can't give these horses the freedom to run on the beach, and they don't have a lot of green land to exercise on as they do further south in Morocco. But we do our best with what we've got. It's not going to please everyone. Some people say, oh, it is so good for animals of that age, they're 26 years old, to be ridden for a short time. It's good for them. Others say, oh, really, no, it doesn't make sense to ride these horses. So I'm going to tell you a little story. It's not so easy to understand what the situation here is in Morocco. If you're not in Morocco, you don't live in Morocco, or you know it well. But we're not just about our animals, we are about the people and the community. And the staff who work here have spent many years with animals. And Ayub in particular has considerable gifts and skills with horses. He's very young himself, he's still in his 20s, his early 20s, I think. And he rode in the Fantasia. Now, for people who don't know what the Fantasia is, it is the Moroccan horses that for decades and decades were used basically as war horses. When the French had occupied Morocco, and Morocco was a protectorate, the French couldn't get much further south than we are here because they would be met by the tribesmen on their horses, who were trained to ride at the sound of a gun and to attack. And the modern day Fantasia is very much a display of where the horses are lined up in teams, and on the shot of a gun, they walk, trot, gallop, and stop on the shot of a gun. And the galloping bit is quite important. And Ayub used to ride in the Fantasia. He doesn't now. And he was telling me just the other day that we must not tether our horses, because his experience of the Fantasia horses is that they are tethered overnight and for hours. So they're really strong and ready to go when they go into their competition. He also, without saying very much, is very conscious of the fact that when he rode these horses, they were on very strong bits that would very often damage the mouth, and they were metal stirrups that would often damage the side of the horse and tear the side of the horse. He just stopped doing it, and we realized that he is now very interested and much more anxious to do liberty work with horses. And he's doing it very well. And he takes advice. And our patron in England, who is called Ellen Cochrane, is an absolute expert in the field. So if you see Ayub take a horse round the arena and appear to go from trot to canter. That's Jasper, I do apologise. Jasper, be quiet, I'm talking. He is actually getting to know the horse. He's finding out how the horse responds to him, and I can promise you he treats that horse with kindness. The animals who come here have had pretty grim lives. The two retired old ladies that I've been talking about came from a good ranch, but they spent the whole of their working lives with tourists. They were trekking horses. We have the Kalesh horses here, and we are thrilled that we had Hardy in the field free today after having brought him back from the brink of death, having gelded him, having had to work with him as he became stronger and as the testosterone was reducing. And he had real freedom for the first time today in an open field. And he ran. I'm not using the expert explanations. I'm not talking about cantering, trotting and galloping. He ran for his life, and he jumped fences. And my joy was that I was able to say to the men, because of the work you have done, this horse, for the first time in his life, has been able to run freely. Because up until the time he came here, he would be tethered at night, maybe in a stable or maybe in a barn. He would be taken out with the Kalesh into the city, and he would pull a Kalesh all day. He has never had that freedom in his life. So we don't always come up to the standards that maybe our friends in Europe, the States, the UK, Australia are familiar with, but we try to do our best in a climate that has not seen this sort of work done before. So please, please bear with my staff. I don't treat the staff in the way that animals are sometimes treated. They are also free to make their own decisions, to decide how they're going to plan their work. And the decision to take the grey mare around the arena today was Ayub's decision when he was taking her out for a walk, and I do not condemn him for it. I trust him. It's something we will talk about, we will all learn, and I hope we all get better. So thank you for listening once again.